Hello everyone. Hi Ajit.
Hello.
Welcome back to HRTV, your favorite online talk show where we dive into all things that's HR. So if you're tuning in for the very first time, we'd like to welcome you and let's know who is with us today and where are you tuning in from. So just say a hello because then we will know who you are and where you're tuning in from. Yeah, Ajit, have you heard of the word new caller?
Sort of a bit here and there. I heard, this new collar, but we always hear about white collar or blue collar, but this new collar concept is really fresh one. I heard about it before, but I don't know. I'm genuinely excited
Yeah,
today
yeah,
to.
because you know what? Today's discussion is all about the rise of the new collars and how the HR playbook needs to change. So we're both of us are in for a great treat and also for our audience too, isn't it?
Exactly, and I heard this same title being spoken about in conferences before, and some tie it up with micro credentials, some tie it up with that, some tie it up with this. So I really don't know, but I feel really excited, and there's so much more to understand about this. And today we will explore this.
Hmm. I look forward, man. I'm so excited also. I'm so eager to know more. So, guys, whoever's in with us at the moment, grab your lunch and join us in the learning journey because we're excited to share this platform with
Yes.
you.
And for those who are tuning in for the first time, let us know a little bit about let us allow us to introduce a little bit about our show to you. We are known as hashtag HR Intervents, commonly referred to as hashtag HRTV. We are an online talk show presented by Compass Mind Asia, a renowned training provider.
Ooh, yay. And so, if you are a HR or L&D joining us and you're planning to have your trainings, I mean, it's coming to end of the year and lots of people are planning for their trainings already. So, if you have any HR related, training related inquiries, drop me an email at training@compassmind.com or just drop me a PM on LinkedIn. As easy as that.
Interesting. So you know where to reach out if you are doing training programs or you need any help. Okay. In our previous episodes, we engaged in discussions with HR experts covering a wide range of topics related to HR and career development, including managing workplace burnout, the future of work, and many, many more interesting topics such as succession planning, learning and development, leadership, culture transformation. A lot more has been covered.
Engagement, talent development, wow, a lot. Because this is, can you believe it? It's our fifth year through. And guys, in case you've missed any of the past 5 years episodes and wondering where you can find them, then you can just head on to my YouTube channel, Shireen Kelly, to watch. And it's as per the ticker below. But I want to warn you, don't go now because we have got a great show lined up for you. Isn't it?
Yeah,
I just.
correct,
Mm.
correct. Today's episode is really exciting. And if you are wondering whether you are in the right place, yes, you are. This show is for everyone and anyone, including HR managers, directors, C suite, business owners, or even job seekers. Trust me, you are in for a treat. We would love to see you join us today. We want to know who join us. Please drop us a hello and let us know where you are tuning from, what you are doing. If you're having lunch, what are you eating? Like for me, I'm just having coffee. My lunch will be later. And if you have not met me before, my name is Ajit. I'm a HR practitioner. I've been practicing HR for the past 25 over years, and that's been my passion.
Oh, I would love to meet you, Ajit, and I'm sure everyone here would love to meet you too. And I'm Shireen Kelly, the managing director at Compass Mind Asia. Welcome to HRTV, season 5, episode 10. Welcome back, everyone, and let's say hello to Nazri. Okay, Rina, and
Rina,
also Rina. Let us know where you're tuning in from, and the rest of you. Also, we see quite a lot of you online, but just say hello. We would love to hear from you guys. And I'm quite excited today to be introducing you to our key speaker for the day with an impressive 30 years of corporate HR experience spanning multinationals, GLCs, and also private companies across a variety of industries. Razman, as a very well known name in the market, brings a wealth of knowledge and hands on experience in human capital management. Beyond corporate leadership, he has contributed as a panel member, employer of the industrial court, lending his insights to important workplace decisions. So you make sure you have your ears all tuned in to hear him out. His most recent corporate role was a chief human resource officer at FGV Holdings Berhad, where he shaped HR strategies at scale. Well, today, Razman serves as the deputy president of MIHRM and is recognized as a thought leader with HRD Corp, sharing his experience and insights to help organizations navigate the evolving world of work today. As you know, a lot of things are evolving before us, right? So please help me welcome together Razman by giving him hearts and thumbs up. And let's bring in Razman. Woo! Hi, Razman.
Hello, everyone.
hello, Encik
Hi,
Razman. How are you?
nice to meet you.
Good.
Hi,
Welcome, Encik
Adit. Yeah,
Razman.
I'm good.
Welcome, and thank you for joining us. It's a great honor to have you for this episode and such an interesting topic. It's been a long time we're trying to get him onto our show. It was not easy, to get his time to join us. And it's always been fun whenever Jerazaman speaks. I've got a lot to learn. It's like a learning platform whenever he speaks. So we are so excited to learn more about your journey and perspective today. Okay, before we move on about the topic, we just want to know a little bit more about you. Can you share or tell us something about yourself that probably our audience might not know by now?
Okay, wow. A bit tough, when you want to share something that people do not know. Well, I've been in HR for about 35 years, starting with my role in a bank. Those days, people would like to love to work in a bank because they think you get a lot of freebies, interest-free loan and so forth. But in actual fact, when the interests are very low, it's cheaper to get commercial rates rather than in-house loans, staff loans. So I've been in many industries, like what Sharina said, oil and gas, banking, property, manufacturing. I think you name it, all there, including state government service. Okay, I've been with Johor Corporation once for about 9 years. And within that 9 years, I spent almost 3 years in KPG Healthcare.
Interesting.
So it's a mixed bag of experiences. Ajit, you were saying something?
No, interesting, Encik Razman. Carry on.
Okay. Yeah, you're breaking up. Can everyone hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. Yes.
Hello,
Very
can
clear.
everyone hear me?
Very clear.
Right. Good. Okay. So one thing that people don't know about me, well, I'm a foodie.
Oh,
So I will
Ooh.
drive 100 km just to have a meal.
Wow. And what's your
wow.
favorite?
So that's me.
What's your favorite meal?
I've done that
What-
before, and I'm going to do it again.
Wow.
Abang, apa dia?
Where have you been to? Okay, you say 100 kilometers. You will drive 100 kilometers away. Where have you been the furthest to have what food?
I think from Penang to Alustar, I think, for breakfast, and came back to Penang for the meeting, 9 a.m.
Yeah, that's far. That's far for breakfast. I won't.
Penang Alustar. Penang
And
Alustar is about 120 km, I think, one way.
wow, what time did you leave? Because you have to go to and fro. What?
Yeah.
5:30. What was this? Yeah, 5:30.
Okay,
I
and
was up at 5 and across the bridge at 5:30.
what took you to Alosta? Why Alosta? What was there for breakfast that you wanted to go for?
Well, my father is from Alustar. You know, he was from Alustar. And basically during school holidays or Raya, we went back and sort of grew up in a way lah, you know, getting to know the food spots in Alustar. So there were memories of the eating spots. So certain foods you don't get in KL.
Mm,
You only get in Penang or you get in Alustar. You might have a version of it in KL, but it doesn't taste the same.
Exactly.
that's so true, lah. I love the
You
kampung
know,
food. The best.
yeah. And northern region, they have rice for breakfast. And this is not
Yeah,
nasi
correct.
lemak, no. This is red rice.
Correct. I was surprised. The nasi lemak in
Yeah.
Langkawi
Nasi
comes with
kandar,
fish.
everything is breakfast.
Betul, betul. Okay,
Wow.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's
Yeah.
welcome some of that. That's a very interesting thing about you, Razman. I mean, really, we didn't know you traveled that far to get breakfast, but that's amazing. I mean, the different things people do, right? That makes you happy, right? Yeah. And let's say hello to some of the people who joined
Yeah.
us. We have after Sabrina, we had a LinkedIn user who is Anisatus. Wow, Anis. I will call her Anis. Hi, Anis. Welcome. Then we've got Amir. Welcome, Amir. We've got La. Hello. Hi, Audrey. Hi, Rohaiza. Hi, Arina.
Rina
Hello to
Tadri.
Joy.
Joy.
Joy is always full of joy. We've got Jasmine and Rohaiza. Thank you all for joining us today. It's so lovely to see all of you here. Hope you all have your lunch with you because we're in for a treat. So let me introduce a little bit about our topic for today, which is, as you already know, the rise of the new collar. So some of you might be wondering, what is this new collar? So we're going to leave it to Encik Razman to explain. But before that, about the topic today, well, the workplace, as you know, is evolving faster than ever. And now it enters the new collar workforce who brings practical experience and start to reshaping career growth, learning, and performances. So today we'll explore what it takes for HR to adapt, redesign traditional playbooks, and create an environment where this new wave of talents can thrive. Because honestly, if organizations aren't ready, they risk missing out on a world of huge potential. So, Anjay Rasman, shall we start? Are you ready?
Yes. Thank you, Shirin. Thank you for the introductions.
You're always ready. Okay, I have the
So,
first
new
question.
collar. What does it mean by new collar, right?
Yeah, I'll probably just
Are there any
check in.
questions or that's careful?
No, I'll ask you the question.
Yeah.
Then I will want you to give me a very in-depth answer because we're really
Sure.
excited to hear more about things. So the first question is the term new collar
Okay.
is gaining significant attention lately, right? How would you describe these new collar employees and what makes them different from the traditional white or blue collars that we always hear? And can you share some perhaps real examples of new collar roles or sectors that are already transforming industries in Malaysia and also APAC region so that we can look at the broader picture?
Okay. Now, new
Mm,
collar is basically a segment of the workforce that is already existing. You know, it's new, relatively new, but it's already there. And basically, what new collar refers to are the workforce that do not go through the academic route, you know, for the 4-year degree program, but they perform professional roles. So
mm,
they actually a bridge between white collar and blue collar. In fact, nowadays with AI, machine learning, and technology and so forth, the lines between blue collar and white collar has blurred. Now there's an emerging segment that is called um, what you call a new collar.
Mm.
And basically, what the new collars is about is that they bridge the gap between traditional education and evolving industry needs. Okay, and basically, they are much more skills based.
Mm.
And some of the jobs that you find, or some of the industry that you find, this new collar emerging people in cybersecurity. They do hacking as well. Professional hackers. You don't have to have a degree for that. You go to cloud computing, you have AI and data analytics. Data scientists, you don't really have to have what you call that a degree. But you can do a professional certification process. But these are very rigorous, and you are qualified data scientist without a degree.
Mm.
And you have advanced manufacturing, green technologies, healthcare management. So these are pathways that these new collar talents are emerging. And typically, if you were to fit in into something that we are familiar with, we call it, they go to the pathway of TVET.
Mm.
And when we talk about TVET, doesn't mean wiring or doesn't mean welding and so forth. It is much more than that. The problem with Malaysia is that we have a stigma about TVET, and people are saying, and for many, many years, TVET is a second choice. Whereas TVET is not a second choice, it's an alternative choice. It is a pathway for people who are not academically inclined. Not everyone wants to do a 4-year degree program. Not everyone needs to do a study.
Yeah.
But they are good with skills. They are good with problem solving. They have certain traits that are their strength, and they choose competency pathways. And TVET is the right one. Now, only the past 2 years or so, the government is pouring billions of ringgit in TVET development.
Yeah.
And we are catching up with economies like Korea, Japan, Germany, and so forth. Because later on, this area will be the backbone of the economy. And as we move, especially towards the value chain, because we started off as an agriculture economy,
Yeah.
then we move on to manufacturing.
Mm.
But now we are moving towards the value chain. We don't have to manufacture chips anymore, semiconductor chips. We are looking into assembling, packaging, designing. And these
Mhm.
adds more value to us as far as the economy is concerned. And we are moving towards a developed economy, a developed nation. And we are not far from that target. So this is basically what new collar is about. People who are very skilled, very competent, but do not necessarily have a degree. Okay. So basically, in a nutshell, that is what new collar is defined.
Interesting. Very
Mm.
interesting. So it's
Yeah.
about acquiring the
Yeah.
knowledge that is needed for that time, and it can be in big size. You do something like data science, and then you can become a data
Yes.
scientist. Yep, interesting, interesting. Okay, bring us to our next question.
Yep.
With this shift towards skill-based employment, how do new collar talent perform on their job compared to the traditional educated employees?
Mhm.
I think if you want to measure effectiveness of performance, you have to look at outcome. Okay. So maybe the performance management framework needs to be adjusted
Mhm.
because we are looking at skill centric metrics. You're no longer looking at KPIs per se anymore. You're looking at competency assessments and how you build in the competency assessment as part of career progression. And it's also outcome based performance indicators. You look at outcome rather than task. And another topic that I've not touched is the future of job descriptions. Because job description, as we know it, may disappear. Because currently, job description is a list of tasks. Whereas if you go for outcome based, those things are going to disappear. You know. So basically, in terms of what you've asked Ajit just now, is that you measure you have to develop a skill centric metrics for assessment, and then you look at how you assess competencies. Not like what we do in terms of KPIs or behavioral stuff like that, but we're looking at professional competencies. Therefore, the assessment we have to focus on specific areas. But later, as you move on, there will be certain skills that cuts across various disciplines, and that will allow for talent mobility, not just across industries, but also within a particular industry or organization. So basically, when you talk about how to measure effectiveness, is we need to revamp how we measure performance for the new caller.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's a lot of new way of thinking of doing things, right? That's why like
New way of assessing
Yes,
talent.
yes. I think some of the items, yes, some of the things that you can look at as far as the performance metrics, you are looking at how they progress in terms of their skill proficiency levels over time. You know, you can look at project and task outcomes. You can look at certifications and continuous learning. Ajit has mentioned earlier about micro credentials, how people can strengthen their competencies, their skills through certifications and continuous learning. Then, of course, you have the normal 360 evaluation as well. And you look at internal mobility promotions. You know, how do you? Then another big issue is how do you remove bias from career progression? Because bosses have their favorites. How do you remove that and make career progression becomes bias free, objective, outcome based, and through skills and competency reviews? So these are some of the things that we need to really look at.
Wow, that's wonderful. That's really powerful. I'm writing notes. If you see me looking down, I'm writing lots of notes because I'm learning so much from you today. And oh
I
yeah,
have a
we
lot of notes in front of me. I've done a lot of
Ah,
homework, so it's fair.
that's great. We would like to welcome also Siti Haniza. Welcome to the show. I saw you just joined in. All right, Encik Razman. Why are we seeing more professionals prioritizing skills over degrees currently? Do you think this shift will define how success and credibility are measured in the long run?
I'm sorry, Sharon, you were breaking up in the first part of your question. Can you repeat that?
Sure, sure. Why are we seeing more professionals prioritizing skills over degrees? And the second part of the question
Yeah.
is, do you think this
I think
shift?
one is, yeah,
Okay, go ahead.
I think one way is that the desire to grow. There can be two ways. One is people who do not want to wait for 4 years to get certified. The traditional method is that you do your 4 years, you only recognize at the end of the fourth year. But people who want to perform and deliver results without waiting until the end of the fourth year. So that is where micro credentials starts to come in, and that appeals to a lot of people. People who are already graduates may want to sharpen their skills and go to micro credentials instead of doing MBA or PhD and so forth. Some who are more academic inclined will go through the traditional pathways. But some of the school leavers may not want to go to university. It's not that they are not qualified. It's their choice. So now becomes a choice for school leavers not to pursue a degree program because it doesn't appeal to them anymore. And they go through skills-based micro credentials. They can take out up to 3 months for a normal certificate program. And universities, for their part, are beginning to offer programs to micro credentials. And this has been going in the West for many, many years already. Even when you do ACCA, you can choose your papers, right? When to do your papers and so forth. So it's cutting across many, many disciplines, many, many knowledge spheres. So this is happening. So you can see more new trends in terms of learning and growth coming up. Coming to your second question, Shirin.
The second part of the question. Thanks for that. In fact, we have more questions coming in also from the audience. But yeah, my second part of the question is do you think this shift will redefine how success and credibility are measured in the long run?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. How it will appear, I don't have the magic crystal ball, unfortunately. But definitely it's going to change. In fact, the total talent management landscape is going to change. And how do we manage our talent as HR professional will also change. And it's going to be exciting as long as people open up their minds, embrace change, and do things which have never been done before. Break the convention,
Mm,
and have the courage to do something new. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, during the closing of the National Human Resource Best Practice event, I think about 2 weeks ago, one of my message was dare to imagine.
mm. Powerful. A powerful tagline. Dare to imagine.
Yes.
Yeah, before you know it, things are just growing bigger and bigger out of your imagination. That's a wonderful one. I
Yeah.
think I'm gonna copy that. In fact, we've got something from Scarlett. Scarlett says, "Would you say those that did their diploma or degree but ended up working in a completely different industry and had to rely on their skills and competencies at that point would be a new collar also? Would you define that as a new collar too?"
You see, the term new collar has been used a bit loosely. I mean,
Mm,
the industry hasn't really defined it. But basically, new collar means people who went through the pathway, went through the non-traditional pathway of a 4-year degree program. So basically, that's new collar. But having a diploma or degree, but moving to a completely new uh, discipline doesn't really necessarily mean new collar. It's just that you have a new role.
mm.
I myself, when I was studying, I found HR to be utterly boring. And I told myself, I will never, never work in HR. That was 35 years ago, almost 40 years ago. Okay. But God is great. and I've been doing that job for 35 years. So please be careful of what you wish for. Okay.
Betul.
And I've been eating the humble pie since then.
Yeah.
But something happened along the way that made me choose HR. I
Mm.
majored in finance and international business. I'm not a HR
Oh,
guy. I
wow.
do the numbers. I don't like when I started off, I did not like to handle people because I know people have 1,001 problems and you have to come up with solutions. I hated that. But something happened along the way in my early formative years
Mm.
that redefined my outlook. So I found my calling in HR, and basically it's to help people to grow. And I've been doing that for the past 35 years. So I hope sort of answered that question.
Betul. And on that note, next time for everyone, never say never because what you don't want, that's what you get. So, okay, husband, you want to do
Yeah,
HR,
yeah.
end up in HR. Okay. Before we move
35
on,
years.
So
Mm.
yeah.
okay, before we move on, let's hear from the audience. If you have more questions, like Scarlett, please do feel free to post your questions. We want to hear more from you. At the same time, do tell us where you're dialing from, what are you doing, what are you having for lunch, or you are done with lunch, or which part of the world are you dialing in from. Okay, that would be interesting. Do interact with us. we are welcoming questions. Not only questions, but if you have comments or you have got any feedback or you've got any experience to share, do feel free to post it there as well. So, Encik Razman, our next question, from the perspective, from your perspective, what are the most effective way organizations can evaluate the impact and contribution of skill-based employees?
I think it goes back to the first the early question that you asked, Ajit, is about how do we assess the
Mm,
effectiveness of this new collar. It goes back to what I said earlier about looking at the skill-centric metrics, looking at outcome-based performance, um, and it's basically the same issues that I've shared earlier.
understand,
Yeah.
understand.
Hmm. All right. In fact, Scarlett has another question. She said this is from her boss. Scarlett, let us know which company are you from. That'll be also quite nice because you said from your boss. Um, Encik Razman, does the new collar have a name or a color?
How about Scarlet? Scarlet is red, right? Somebody has to come up with a good name. Right now, because it is something that is relatively new, not
Mm-hmm.
much conversation is going on regarding new collar, so it remains a new collar.
Mm.
A friend of mine even talk about no collar. Do you know
No
what no collar
color.
is? No collar
No
is
quality.
AI,
Oh, AI, okay.
because it
I
doesn't
thought
wear
it
any collar, right? So people and their imagination, you go figure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. Scarlett, I hope that answers your question. And
Yeah.
in fact, to the audience also, it'll be nice to also know whether your organizations currently have any new callers in there. I mean, it's already, like Encik Razman said, it's already existing in the in organizations. So if your organization does already have new callers, let us know. It'll be nice to know about it. And thanks, Khaled. Thanks for the questions. Bring in more questions. We are also honored to have you here. Encik Razman, as skills based hiring becomes more mainstream, what major mindset shift should HR leaders adopt, especially when they are hiring new collars?
Good question. I think organization must be prepared to move away from the standard requirement degree to sort of recruit or bring in professionals. So professional nowadays doesn't have to have a degree. Okay. So the hiring requirement, one of the basic hiring requirement has to be reviewed. Okay. So no longer will you put in what kind of degree is required. You may be looking at what kind of skills is required. So the entry requirements is not related to paper qualifications, is now defined by the skills that is required. Okay. Or the outcome that the person is needed to produce. So this is one of the mindset that we need to change. This is a, a big shift, you know. Our organization ready for that? Because
Mhm.
once you have you change that requirement, is the organization ready to accept these new professionals? How can they fit in into the organization? What kind of structure that needs to be there to accommodate this new talent? So is one thing is about the hiring requirement, the other thing is fitting them in and
Mm,
keeping them, okay? Because their outlook and their requirement be totally different from perhaps people like me who've been around for 35 years in the corporate sector. Um, Even if people who've been around for let's say 20 years and you have about 10 years with to go in the corporate world, you need to start rethinking about how do you accommodate because there'll be more and more new collar coming into the market. And some of our existing people who are non-degree holders, may want to pursue a competency-based career progression. They may take up micro credentials. How do you then accommodate them? Okay, clerical jobs are disappearing, right? We used to have a pyramid hierarchy. Now it's diamond shape, and the bottom of the diamond is going to disappear. Okay, Ajit, you know, in our division, how many clerks we have?
Mm.
Five out
Okay.
of out of like 70 people, clerks. We don't even have last time we have what you call that messenger. Remember?
Mm.
We used to have stenos.
Steno, correct.
Photographers.
Those haven't gone the way of the dinosaurs.
Mm.
We have apps that can take dictation, can translate what you call um, voice into text, and you get minutes of interview almost on the spot.
Mm.
So things are changing. You know, the way we work is changing. So those are one big things that you need to look at the mind shift change in recognizing, giving recognition to the new collar. Because you know why we are Asian, Asian. I say you tell our children, hey, you must go to have this degree, you must have that degree, and so forth. Nowadays, even my own son, I don't tell him to do a degree. I told him degree can only open your door, but how you step in through that door is totally different. So he is doing through Tibet institution now.
Oh,
Okay, and Tibet institution students in Tibet are highly sought after. If you are not aware, they are highly sought after. Even before they finish their programs, their courses, they are snapped up by employers. Compared to a degree holder, a fresh graduate, they may end up still looking for a job 6 months after graduation. And that's big money as well in
Okay.
people who are skills based.
I hear you, Jarasman. I think you have a point, a valid point. What about, say, for example, okay, take example like I go out and do data science. I learn about say now I go and do data science. I learn about Python. I learn very quickly. I do a certification. I become data scientist. Maybe say in 6 months, I become a data scientist, and I'm so good at it. But you know how time goes. That knowledge may be obsolete. Maybe in 2 years' time, they may not want Python anymore. That the whole landscape may change. Then where will I go? Will I still be relevant, or do I need to go back to the drawing board? Because I really don't have a degree, I don't have a diploma, nor do I have formal qualification, nor an MBA. So I may not go into management. I may not go anywhere. I am no more. My skill is no more relevant now. So how are we going to manage these kind of employees? The new collar, they are
Yeah.
relevant, but not relevant again. If
So you are speaking from a new collar perspective or an employer perspective?
Probably both. From a new collar, where do I go? From an employer, what do I do with them?
mm,
From a new collar, one must be ready to pivot.
Okay,
Like my
correct,
own experience,
correct.
I didn't like HR, but I pivoted.
Mm.
So look for opportunities to pivot. Be ready to pivot.
You
Okay.
understand?
So because as millennials or maybe Gen Z or whatever you have, Gen Alpha, whatever it is, you are supposed to be agile. You has to
Mm.
be a high degree of adaptability to
yeah,
changing situation because that's what you demand.
Mm.
So when things change, you will also need to pivot quickly, or you must be able to see beyond the horizon.
Mm. Correct.
So self-reflection, a lot of study about research needs to go into if things happen, what is your plan B? What is your plan A?
mm,
What's your plan B? And what's your plan C? From the employer side, when the mind shift happens, then the organization in terms of their culture, how they work, their structure, their processes needs to be agile as well. They need to change. For
Mm.
example, um, there's no more paperwork in the office anymore.
Correct.
Everything is taken up by platforms or apps or whatever not. I never see application form for leave, for example. I don't even see medical certificates anymore.
yeah,
Mm.
Everything taken up. by platforms,
Mhm.
okay, or by apps. So when that happens, the role must change. When I was in healthcare, they had about 30 hospitals, 29 hospitals at the time, 38 hospitals. And you can imagine each hospital got their own payroll,
Mm.
you know. So that's redundancy, right?
Yes.
So what does the organization need to do? The organization needs to, based on whatever platforms they have, they created a metric structure. So instead of having 28 payroll staff, you centralize it using technology, and I can have it instead of 28, I can only have 12 or 14 payroll
Mm.
staff and break it up by regions. So then the balance I can redeploy for value adding jobs. So
Mm.
employer needs to be flexible and recognize the need to change.
Okay.
Mm.
Employer. Okay. The employer, how will the employer manage this?
That I just mentioned about employers now.
Okay, okay.
You
The need to
know,
change.
organization, yeah, the
If
structure,
the
the
person, if the
processes.
person don't, if say for example the person don't, he's been doing that and he only got that, suddenly the knowledge become irrelevant. Then what do we do with that employer, with the employee?
Employee, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
yeah. Employee who recognize the need for change and embrace change are the ones who's going to be around.
Okay.
Okay, they make themselves relevant
Mm.
with continuous learning and upskilling. But we also have to recognize that some people you cannot upskill anymore because they've
Correct.
been there for like 15 years, 20 years doing the same thing. Then keep asking for promotion. I've come across this when I was in Kuantan, I think about a year ago. People ask me, "Hey, I've been here for 7 years. I never got promotion." So I politely told him, "Sir, time-based progression is no longer
Mm.
used in this organization. It is skills-based. It is performance-based. So if you want to progress, you have to deliver to the organization. Show that you create value or you add value. But if you're waiting for time to get promoted, it's not going to happen." So I told that in front of everybody, but being very, very polite and very, very diplomatically. People have to realize that is now the new world. And but these people are still performers. They if you want to put it terminology, they are the working ants or the working bees. They are good at what they're doing, but they do not have a potential to grow.
Mm.
Betul.
If the role still exists for them to perform where they are, then it's
Mm.
maintenance for them. And they're quite happy that way already.
Mm.
So you have to identify what kind of roles that fits them that the organization still needs. But of course, worst case scenario, you find organizations that says this role has become extinct,
Mm.
the place to put them, then you have the MSS comes kicks in, the mutual separation scheme. Okay.
Correct, correct.
So but of course the keyword is mutual. So we have to be fair and equitable to the staff concerned.
Mm.
Great. Wow, that's pretty interesting info. In fact, Rohaiza is mentioning something.
Yes.
She said, just learn about the term of new collar. I have been with a company that has a mix of collars. One thing that is so obviously observed in new collar, their loyalty and the desire to grow. Yeah, actually, what
Yes,
do you think of
Grow. Okay.
loyalty?
true. The new caller, you see, they cannot wait 1 year to
Yeah.
review their performance. If they've
Mm-hmm.
done
Correct, correct.
something good, you have to tell them immediately. If they've done something bad as well or not so good, you also have to tell them immediately because they
Correct.
expect results from their work to be immediate so they can act on it. And in terms of reward, also you have to look. You see, when we talk about new collar, there's a big thing that we need to look at. Not just hiring, you have to look at remuneration as well. So the remuneration has to be tailored in
Mm.
such a way that you don't wait 1 year to give increment or 1 year to give bonus. That may not work with the new collar anymore. So you will need to really look and come up with what you call that, not just competitive, but a unique way of rewarding and recognizing new colleagues
Mm.
because their motivation is different.
In fact, you're
Mm.
talking about the remuneration, right? How you reward them. Scarlett asks,
Yeah.
would you say that the recent rise in low base plus high commission or salary purely based on performance is one of the methods employers have been using to handle new callers? What would be the best way, actually?
It depends on industry as well.
Mm,
Some industry they are already commission based, but some industries are not. Some more industries are more traditional, like agriculture. But there are incentives, then you can look at incentives rather than commission. So what kind of outcomes, what kinds of productivity that is expected of the role that you can tie to incentives, performance-based incentive or outcome-based incentives. So again, different industries will have different kind of incentives. So I would
mm,
encourage employers to look at new ways of remunerating the new collar.
Mm.
all right.
That
Okay.
makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. We let's say hi to Jess. Hi, Jess, Serena. Welcome to the show. In fact, I'm actually really enjoying the questions coming in from the audience also. So others who are joining, who are with us, if you have any questions or any personal experiences you want to share regarding the topic today, just comment down below. Anche Razma would love to answer your questions and give you more insights to it. Anche Razma, I've got another
Yeah.
question. um, Collaboration seems to be key in this movement, right? How important is it for HR, governmental agencies, and training providers to work together to build a sustainable new collar ecosystem?
Good question. But this collaboration has been around for quite some time, and we
Mm,
have very good examples of it. But somehow it is not so widespread across the country. Now, when we talk about tripartite collaboration, it
mm,
involves one is employer, second is industry and learning institutions, and third are employees themselves, or even unions,
Mm.
or workers associations, or professional bodies and things like that. So these are talking about tripartite. Now, why it is important? Because it is based on the needs of the industry.
yeah.
Okay, I can quote one example. Uh, in Penang, I think it was late 70s, early 80s, there was an influx of investments in semiconductors, electronics, and electricals. Okay, Intel, for example, okay, came into Penang, big way. But after a few years, they find there is not enough talent to go around. And talent keep jumping from one company to the next. Even for a 50 ringgit increment, they jump.
Hmm.
Or sometimes they get scolded also, they get jumped. So,
Mm.
Yeah.
so this thing, they scold a little bit, marah,
Gone.
merajuk, fine. And
Bye-bye.
next day, I'm in another factory. Okay, next door only. Worst is next door. The guard will say, there already, different uniform. So, yeah, so what they did was the Penang state government set up the PSDC, okay,
Mm.
and with a seed fund of only 50,000 ringgit. Seed fund only, The second year onwards is funded by industry because industry provide grants because they know they need the talent. Okay, so it was set up in Bayan Lepas, and the industry provided grants in RM, but they also provide equipments,
Mm.
the equipments, milling machines, and so forth. They're all industry sourced. Okay, and the management council of the PSDC is made up of the CEOs and C-suite of the industry. Currently, the chairman of the council is the CEO of Motorola Solutions. So the industry gets involved in the training, and they have, I think, they have about more than 137 trainers and subject matter experts from the industry that conduct programs. They've run, I think they've trained more than 200,000 people over the years. And the agency is recognized globally as a TVET institution because the industry players, they are big players now. They are talking about Siemens, they are talking about Bosch, we have again Intel, there used to be Seagate, there are now there's Honeywell. These are big names in Penang. So this is what we meant by collaboration. But what does HR needs to do? This is very good question because we need to champion the agenda. This is the time that we can help shape training and certification standards by collaborating with the government, the regulatory bodies, the training institutes. We can be in the driver's seat, provided we are proactive in that. We can co-create. The key term is co-create.
Co-create, betul.
Okay. Yeah, co-create. And we also become advocate for worker protections and equity. Okay, where are we at the moment? Okay, and we can then become champion of skills-based hiring. Okay, so our mindset, coming back to the question of mindset, is adopt skill-first recruitment rather than degree-based recruitment. Okay, and we become co-partners that we can co-create, and we can act as the bridge between the stakeholders. Okay, I was a couple of years back before I joined FTV, I was a director of Johor Skills, and we tried to emulate what we done. So these are the things that I think, depending on the industry, we can then join forces, in fact, between HR professionals to approach the industry, the stakeholders, and create something. So I think this is the opportunity that we should take, especially when the rise of the new collar. Last time, the PSDC, they are focusing on blue collar because that's what the industry needs. But things are moving, things are shifting. With AI, with analytics, big data, things are changing. That is where the new collar will come in.
Interesting. Okay, Jerasman, I have another concern. Some people tell me before, I read somewhere, they say actually new collar is nothing new because we already have contractor employees with us. Contractor employees are delivering specific tasks, specific needs for us, and then we have like they are not our employee. They just come in, they deliver, and then they go off. It's on a special term. That means based on per performance and all that. So they say we really don't need to focus so much on towards this new collar and all that. It's like hiring contractor outside. And their concern was this journal also spoke about we bring them on do we treat them like a normal employee or do we keep them do come up with a special like gig economy? We have got the gig workers and things like that. So many people talk about these things. What is your take about it?
Okay, there are actually two parts to the issue that you mentioned. Okay. Now the first part is if the employer have the money, it's easy for them to say that lah. They can hire contractors, they can hire consultants.
Betul.
Okay, if you have the money, okay, that's one issue. Then how about the SMEs? You see, if you continuously adopt the approach of getting third party to do your work, inherently in the organization, you don't own the skills. How does the organization grow if you don't own the skills? And the skills actually can shape the culture. So this is, to me, is a lost opportunity. I mean, this is how I look at it. They are not wrong because it depends on the needs of their business. They can afford to do it. That is the way of they are doing things. That's okay. But others may not be able to afford. So they have to build that skill level. And they talk about loyalty. The retention of knowledge. When you hire a consultant, the retention of knowledge is not there because the doers, the people who do the work, is not retained in the organization. They move on to another project, to another client. So how do you retain that knowledge? And as far as the second part of your question, how do you treat these people coming in? Like I said earlier, you need to create career pathways.
Mm.
You don't have vertical ladders anymore. I mean, vertical ladders can exist, but that's not the only way to grow.
Yeah, correct.
Okay? And when you talk about pathways, you talk about career lattices. Lattice, Lattice.
Mm.
Like when you have lattice in your garden and you will get the plant to grow,
Yeah.
that kind of lattice. So
Mm.
when you grow, you allow that kind of pathway. You allow people to grow laterally as well as diagonally, and
Mm.
not just vertical. Because vertical you promote silo, but
Mm.
with the new collar, you want to promote mobility. So the
Mm.
skill can spread throughout the organization. So again, not just remuneration, not just the hiring, but how do you have an ecosystem that allow new collar to grow within the organization? So this is
Mm.
actually a big topic. You can take up the whole day to talk about it.
Betul, betul, betul. Interesting. I like the perspective. Correct. Depending on the organization direction, and you're right. Contractors can be very costly, and then the knowledge is not ours. End of the day, whatever transpired belongs to outsiders. We will not
Yeah.
have to move this. Yeah, very interesting. Very interesting.
Yep.
Very insightful. And we have Rohaiza asking one more. I think we have one last question. What would you suggest to the new callers to keep on rising? So from the new caller
Ah,
perspective. Mm.
you know, actually, I can expand this to a very big topic, but I try to keep it short.
Uh-huh.
Okay, not apart from whatever
Next.
skill, whatever skills, whatever competencies that you have, you come back to the basics. As a human being, how do you grow?
Mm.
Okay, how do you grow? What is your true north? Check your compass. Okay, so this is because we are talking about compass in mind Asia anyway. So what is your true north? What really means to you. So basically, how successful you are, manage your ego,
Mm.
because your ego is the elephant in the room.
Mm.
And ego is normal, perfectly normal. Every human being has that, even me. But how do you manage it? That will set you apart. Be careful as you become more successful, your ego is also going to grow. How are you going to manage that? Because if your ego is become very big, then you are limiting your potential to grow.
True.
So always check your ego. But how do you do that? Self-reflection. Spend less time on this part, you know. Spend less time on the screen. Do more
Reading.
self-reflection. Read. I buy books, I got books. Even I'm outstation also, I bring books. I love bookstores. You go to my house, full of books. Even my bedroom is also full of books. So read. Okay. I don't buy ebooks because I want to limit my time spent on the screen.
Mm.
So I invest in books.
Mm.
Okay. So again, one basic thing is your ego, manage it well, be human, be a good human.
Betul.
Think good, do good, be good. So that is a nutshell, a very short answer to that.
Very
Perfect.
powerful answer, I will say, because it comes from the human aspect of it's being real,
Yeah.
being a real human. Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
That's
sometimes you have to swallow the bitter pill. You meet failure, then only you start to reflect.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, you know what, Encik Razman and Ajit, I
Yep.
don't believe it's 2 o'clock already, and we've come to the end of the session for today.
Yeah.
One hour
Yeah.
just flew by so quickly. So we would like to really say thank you to you so much, Encik Razman, for such an insightful session, and most of all, a serious discussion with us today.
yes, and it's
Thank
so
you, Shireen. Thank you, Ajit, for
so
your
good.
invitation.
Yes, and it's so good that we took a very deep dive.
Thank you to the audience for
Yeah, there's so much of things that we unearthed. And then
yeah,
before we end,
yeah.
are there any way that the audience can reach out to you should they have any further questions, or would they want to know more or link up with you? Is there any method that you can link up with you?
Well, I'm available on LinkedIn,
Okay.
so just look out for me and reach out.
Yeah,
I always accept people to know who it is.
Mr. Rahman LinkedIn is displayed at the bottom.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
make sure you follow Encik Razman, ask him as much questions as possible. And well, that's a wrap for today's episode of HRTV. Thanks so much, Encik Razman, for being here. And
Thank
to
you.
all our audience, thank you for tuning in and being such amazing audience, asking questions and stuff. And we shall see you next month for the final episode of the year, because we are in December. So till we meet again, see you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.